Welcome to Los Angeles, 1990. A city still reeling from a terrifying killing spree 5 years prior. It's in this scene where we meet our protagonist, Deputy Sheriff Joe Deke Deacon, played by the always reliable Denzel Washington. After a young woman winds up dead, it brings up memories of a case he failed to solve years earlier and notices that the killer's MO is similar to that of the aforementioned case. Crossing paths with LASD Detective James Jimmy Baxter, played by Rami Malek, they start to put the pieces together, and their prime suspect is a mechanic named Albert Sparma, played by Jared Leto. However, as they try to close in on their man, Deacon's hauntings of his past interfere with his better judgment, and what started as a genuine attempt to catch a killer becomes a desperate desire to entrap a suspect. Sparma, meanwhile, treats all this as some sick game of cat and mouse, unwilling to give them the satisfaction of whether or not they've caught the killer. Denzel Washington never fails to deliver a tour de force performance, and Rami Malek is a consistent actor as well. Jared Leto has been very hit or miss, but when he puts in the work, it pays off. Director John Lee Hancock has also proven himself to be a competent filmmaker, his most recent projects being Saving Mr. Banks, The Founder, and The Highwaymen. His biggest claim to fame, however, is being the director of The Blind Side, which, while controversial, did win Sandra Bullock an Oscar. If there's one positive thing you can say about the guy, it's that he knows how to get good performances from the actors he works with. Unfortunately, good acting isn't always enough to carry a movie, and that's what's happened here. Hancock's script first came to be in 1993, with Steven Spielberg attached to direct, but he passed on it because he thought it was too dark. Honestly, I think he passed on it for other reasons. It is pretty cool that we have 3 Academy Award winners leading the cast, and I'm not going to say that the collective talent is wasted here, but the script does leave much to be desired. First and foremost, on a technical level, the movie looks great. Plenty of moody lighting, lots of shadow and contrast that give it that noir feeling. The night scenes are especially well lit. However, that might be because they leaned into the setting, with lights everywhere. Regardless, it's nice that I don't have to turn up the brightness to see what's going on in a scene that takes place at night. Because of this, whenever we see our lead character, we're already so engrossed with the world around him. Denzel Washington is one of those actors where it doesn't matter what the final cut of a project turns out to be, you know that anytime he showed up on set, he put in the work. He plays this very damaged man who can't quite move on from his mistakes. A former detective for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, he's now trying to make a quieter living in Kern County. However, this new case now forces a lot of older memories to the surface, and it starts to affect his mental state, such as seeing apparitions of victims in his apartment when he's trying to sleep. Deacon is a stoic character, but he's also an uneasy one. He never blows up in anger or breaks down in tears, but you know that behind that steely-eyed look, there's a whole world going on in his mind. You're just waiting for that facade to crack and show some emotion, but you don't know what that emotion is going to be. It makes his character feel like a ticking time bomb, especially when he works outside of protocol on more than one occasion. His determination to nail Sparma feels more like obsession, trying to make a puzzle piece fit when it's not the right one. Even when it's revealed that Sparma confessed to a murder that he couldn't have possibly committed, he still refuses to let go. This effect rubs off on his partner against crime, Baxter. Now, I like Rami Malek as an actor, but if I had to describe his performance in this movie with one word, it would be passable. It's not terrible, but it's nothing worth writing home about either. He doesn't do anything outstanding, but isn't completely phoning it in either. He's quite good at playing a middleman between Washington's stoic passion for justice and Leto's straight-faced mischief. It makes his character the more interesting one to follow, as he gets dragged down by this case and ends up on the same level of desperation as Deacon. However, that does bring attention to something that you'll notice very quickly, and that's how the majority of the movie are these 3 characters talking to each other with frowny demeanors on their faces. Seriously, about every third scene is Washington and Malek talking in a police office, or in a car, or interrogating Leto. Despite all 3 actors having the same look on their face in just about every scene, you do feel the energy they're giving off. There's a difference between looking bored and phoning it in for a paycheck versus having a serious look all the time because of the movie's tone. I will say though, Jared Leto has the weakest performance of the three. The main drive of the story is that a woman named Rhonda Rathbun went jogging one night and hasn't been seen since, a key piece of evidence being a red beret that she wears. Baxter is advised not to bring Deacon on board, as the case will hit too close to home. So Deacon instead takes some vacation time and uses it to help Baxter. Here's where we get to the big problem of the movie. The pacing does drag itself out, and we spend a lot of time waiting for something to happen. Then there'll be a scene that indicates a critical plot point, and then nothing of consequence. These detectives are supposed to be on a time crunch, but you never feel the urgency. It pads itself out and winds up draining out any intensity. Jared Leto is also such a non-presence in this movie. Like, as soon as his scenes are done and he's no longer in the picture, you forget he's even in it. He only shows up periodically to mess with Deacon and Baxter, taunting them as if he knows they want to get him, but they can't prove it. As if he's purposefully wasting their time. The problem is, he wastes the audience's time as well. There are only so many times you can have Jared Leto give a 1,000-yard stare and speak in a monotone cadence before the gimmick wears itself out. But it also begs the question of how well the character is handled. I know it's easy to dunk on Jared Leto because, well, he's Jared Leto, but I feel like even if they had gone with someone else, a change of actor would have not fixed this character. I get that Sparma is meant to be this creepy, aloof guy who you're always wondering if he's the culprit, but by the third or fourth time he pops up, you're already waiting for the movie to confirm what the truth is. Not in a sense of, this is so exciting, did he do it or did he not do it? No. This is more in the vein of, make up your mind movie, give us clues or don't. I found this editing error when watching this scene. See, apparently the killer gets aroused at the thought of dead women, and Deacon fills him up.
Why not? Son of a bitch, your dick is as hard as Chinese arithmetic.
If this moment of outburst and then this weird continuity error.
All right. We know, you know, we got you by the balls, small as they are.
You son of a bitch.
You lost control.
The ending is also a bit of a head scratcher, and not in a good way. Sparmer takes Baxter out to dig for the missing victim that he supposedly buried, with Deacon observing them. After digging several holes, Sparmer admits that he never killed anyone. This doesn't stop Baxter though, and he keeps digging, only for Sparmer to keep taunting him.
You don't matter. This will go on and on and on. There's nothing you can do about it.
Realizing that they technically killed an innocent man, Deacon advises Baxter to bury Sparmer while he goes back to his apartment to get rid of his things. When he comes back, he finds that Baxter has spent all night digging for the victim, wanting to believe that Sparmer is the killer. Deacon then tells Baxter that he should just let the case go, as this was the same mindset he himself was in all those years ago. He became obsessive to the point where it ended his marriage and gave him a heart attack.
He's dead. He's forgotten. He's rotting in the ground, and the only way he's gonna come back is if you let him come back. Don't you ever go back to his place? Don't you ever let his name cross your lips? Don't you ever pull his file? Because if you do, he'll rise up out of that ground. He'll do you in. It's the little things, Jimmy. It's the little things that rip you apart. It's the little things that get you caught.
The movie ends with Deacon burning the last of Sparmer's things and sending Baxter a red beret, similar to the one of Rhonda Rathbun. I found this to be a bit of a nothing ending. No cathartic release, no sense of solved mystery, just a dead man and a secret to keep. I understand what the idea was, but that doesn't automatically make it good. A movie has to earn its ambiguous ending, which The Little Things does not. The Little Things is a tedious police drama that is so desperate to become the next Seven or Zodiac, but without creating a narrative thread that's easy enough to follow or interesting enough to figure out. When you're making a murder mystery or a police investigation movie, you want to keep the audience hooked. You want to move things along at a steady enough pace so they're engaged with what's happening. You don't get that with this movie. There's no grand conclusion to whether Sparmer was the killer, or if Deacon was the killer, not really much of an ending at all. There's no decent oh snap moment, no sudden revelation. You're taken on this wild goose chase with this one suspect, an occasional glimpse into Deacon's mind, but no real concrete finale. It's a mystery thriller where the mystery takes a back seat. a police drama where you don't really get emotionally invested in the detectives. Probably the most egregious sin it commits is that it's a bit boring, to the point where your brain kind of tunes out. I actually had to watch this movie a couple times to catch all the details, because my mind got so bored that it just wanted to go to sleep. The slow pacing, the dark atmosphere, the lack of any real excitement, there's not a whole lot going on worth paying attention to. This movie could have easily been 90 minutes, 100 minutes. It did not need to be over 2 hours long. It's one of those movies that you probably catch on cable when there's literally nothing else on. Bonus if it's in a cheap motel at some ungodly hour in the morning. Rami Malek has been on a downward trend since winning the Oscar, and Jared Leto feels like Jared Leto. Considering his character and Leto's real-life persona, that isn't exactly the best compliment to give him. It's a movie you have on as background noise, when you're trying to sleep but need a nice crime drama to help nod off. Until you stumble upon it on cable, save it for when it arrives on streaming. Alright, that's my review of The Little Things. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, this is the Canadian Movie Buff saying I hope you had a fantastic weekend at the movies. And if you excuse me, I'm off to buy stuff off the dark web.